Hi folks, you may be wondering how to collect work from your students through the UNM Learn system. If it's a written assignment, you usually do that using the Assignments feature. It's one of the easiest features to use in Learn, and we're going to look at those simple steps for creating an assignment in this video. In this video, you will learn how to create assignments, how to configure the 4 most common assignment settings, and we will also take a tour through the other settings, some of which you may want to use. So here we are in a course. We're on the course dashboard page, but I'm going to go to a page that already has an assignment on it. The course information page, an assignment has already been created and put on this page. So we see the first persuasive essay, and that's an assignment. You can see that it has a title, which is where students will click in order to submit their essay. It also has instructions for them on what you're expecting them to do. So this is what an assignment looks like to you and your students once it's been created. So next we're going to take a look at how you would create an assignment. Let's say that there's a next assignment that you need to collect from your students. So to do that, you go up to the Assessments menu. You have a few options there, but you're going to select Assignment. On the Create Assignment screen, the first thing you want to do is give your assignment a name. And once you have a name, you can go down to this space here, the text editor, and add any instructions. I'm just going to put a little bit of text here as a placeholder. And you would always have the option of coming back here later to add your real instructions. There are really 4 basic things in an assignment that you want to fill out as you're creating the assignment. And we're going to take a look at those first. And after that, we'll take a peek at some of the other options that you have that you may not have an interest in, but they are things that are there that you can do with assignments. So the 4 basic things are giving it a title, giving it instructions, and then when you scroll down, you want to give it a due date. And so I'm going to check this box here. And after I check the box, I can then go over to the little calendar icon and set a due date for this assignment. Let's say that it's going to be Monday. And then I also have the option of setting a time for the assignment. So I can click the little clock icon and choose from any of the range of times that I might like to have this assignment due. The option that's all the way at the bottom of the list is end of day, and that's a convenient one to use. If I select it, it will put 11:59 p.m. into the time field. So 11:59 p.m. is generally something that communicates clearly to your students. If you put 12 a.m. or 12 p.m., students may not know which of those is noon and which is midnight. So this is a good option in terms of times for making things due. So that's the third thing that you want to do with an assignment. The 4th and last basic setting that you want to use is points possible. And you may notice that there is a gold asterisk next to points possible. Anytime you see that in the Learn interface, it means that that item is required. So I would need to put something here before I can create my assignment. And in this case, I'm going to click it, and we're going to make it worth 100 points. So now I've done all the fundamental things I need to do to create an assignment. I could go ahead and submit it. I'm going to do that right now. And I now have a second assignment. It has most of the fundamental things that you would want in an assignment. I do want to come back here later and edit this assignment to add the specific instructions. And if I wanted to do that, I can just drop down the menu and edit. So there are a few other settings you can use with assignments, and I'm going to take a moment to show those to you. It could be that one or more of them is of interest to you with your assignment. It could be that none of them are, and you're not required to use them. So I'm going to edit this assignment, and then I'm going to scroll down. One of those additional features is that you can attach a file to your assignment. If you had detailed instructions for your assignment in a document and you wanted to pass that to your students, you could use this feature to do that. It's not something you have to do. You can just put all of your instructions here, but some people prefer to do it that way, and this is a feature that allows you to. So then when we scroll down further, you have the option to add a rubric to the assignment. It's a very good idea to create a rubric for this assignment and for all of your others, and you can use this feature in here to build it. But that allows you to communicate with your students as to what your expectations are for this assignment. And then you have several drop-down menus with a variety of other options. The first one has some things in it that you might be interested in using. It has assignment type, and it defaults to individual. So it's assuming that we're asking individual students to turn in this essay. If you wanted to create group assignments or groups of your students to turn things in, you could, and that option would be here. It also has a number of attempts setting, so it defaults to single attempt, assuming that you want to collect this assignment once from your students, but you do have some options in terms of multiple attempts. And then there's the built-in plagiarism tool in the Learn system. It's called Safe Assign, and you can use that by checking this box. Generally, you would want to check the box that's up here and not the other two. This is just the basic enabling of Safe Assign. What Safe Assign does is compare your student's submission to a database of information that's out there on the web, and also to papers that were turned in previously by UNM students, so long as this feature was used. So in other words, if there's another class where the instructor used Safe Assign to collect student papers, all of those have gone into the database, and when your student turns in a paper, it's going to be compared to what all those other students did. So that's a good feature to use. Something that if you enable it, students get a prompt indicating that that's what's going to happen with their paper when they turn it in. So students will be informed about this as they're turning in their work. So that's submission details. You also have grading options. You can do anonymous grading, which means that as you're going through and grading student papers, you would not see the student's name. This feature is off by default, but you can turn it on if you want to. And then you can delegate grading. If you have a grad assistant or someone who's going to help you with the grading, you can check this and delegate to them the responsibility of grading. So those are the grading options. And then you have display of grades. So this lets you control the way students are going to see their grades. It defaults to the choices that you usually want to make. But these options in here give you opportunities to change those defaults if you want to display grades in some way that's a little bit different. So for example, it defaults to score. We have set 100 points for this assignment, so it would be natural to show a score. However, if you were using percentages to grade things, you could drop this down and change the setting to percentage. It also defaults to including this grade in the Grade Center calculations. So when it calculates a total grade, this will be part of the calculation. If for any reason you did not want to have this as part of a student's total grade, you could turn that off. It also defaults to showing the grade to students in their My Grades, which is the space that they go to check their grades. So typically you do want to show students their grades. And you have another option that is not checked by default, which would show some additional information about statistics for this assignment, so students could compare the way they did with the class as a whole. So then you have at the bottom the availability settings. As you've noticed, we already set a due date for this assignment, and that's all you really need to do. But if you wanted to have more control over when students see the assignment, that would be something you could do with these settings. Finally, you have a track number of views setting. This would allow you to access statistics on how many times students have viewed this assignment. So that's off by default, but you can track that if you would like to. And once you have those additional settings in place, you can submit the assignment, and those extra settings will now apply to this assignment that we just created. So that's how you collect work online using the assignments feature. Thank you for watching this video. You can check out the other videos in this series by going to the UNM Center for Digital Learning channel on YouTube. Thanks.